Good day, friends. Today we are here to discuss about the tappet clearance or the valve tappet clearance. Basically, we are doing it in case of auxiliary engine, four-stroke engine, in a very frequent basis. We have to aware about what exactly it is and how it is being done. Tappet clearance, or it is called also valve tappet clearance. It is the space between top of the valve stem and the rocker arm. The main purpose of it is to allow some thermal expansion at the working temperature, because when the engine is cold, no problem at all. But when engine is working or the combustion process is happening inside, then the thermal expansion of the valve and valve stem is happening. So to maintain that, the tappet clearance is being provided. It is to ensure that the positive closing of the valve continues as it wears or sits during use. So basically when it uses, so the wear and tear is obvious. So it also maintains that part. And due to the wear in the parts, also the clearance is going to be increased. So time to time we have to measure it, and the same thing, the question comes to you that what is the use of the tappet clearance, purpose of the tappet clearance, or why tappet clearance? The answer remains same, that it ensures the positive closing of the valve and the thermal expansion of the valve is being maintained. Precautions while checking the tappet clearance. What precautions you will take? First, taking all safety precautions. Of course, as per the engine manufacturer's guideline, whatever the safety precautions are there, we have to take it. First, engine must be in cool down state. Basically, the engine must be completely cooled. Whatever the thermal expansion changes in the dimension of the valve stems or the various engine components, they are to be accurately measured and adjusted. It is only possible when the engine is in cold condition. Safety precaution. Ensure the engine is off and cannot be accidentally started. Of course, must be in the stop condition. In your engine control room also, the tag must be placed. The duty engineer must be informed. And of course, in the local part or the auxiliary engine local area, there also it must be blocked. The things. If you need to turn the crankshaft, use the appropriate tool to do so. So basically, what we are doing, we are uh, doing the flywheel, and with the rod, the turning gear rod, we are using it. And this turning gear rod is also giving you the safety, because once you remove it, it is not going to allow the starting gear to open. The limit switch for that is also being connected. How to find out the piston is on TTC? Basically, it comes under the process of measuring. Okay. And we have to first make sure that piston must be on TTC. First, we will check the markings on the flywheel. The flywheels are marked on that. So we have to put the TTC of two units basically in the flywheel marked position. Another method, from the position of the fuel cam, must be on the base circle. Push rod has to be free. So both the units, when it comes on the flywheel, you can see both the units must be checked whose push rods are free. That means the both valve should be closed at this stage at the end of compression stroke. So that means we have to take that unit particularly. Lose the lock nut of the rocker arm, we have to lose it. Now adjust the tappet clearance between the rocker arm and the valve stem by tightening or loosening the nut below the lock nut. So that is the main thing. We know that as per the engine manufacturer manual, it is being given 0.35 suction valve and exhaust valve 0.45. As in the exhaust side, the temperature is more, so clearance is given more. Generally, this is the engine manufacturer's guideline. Okay, so we have to use the filler gauge, and then we have to adjust the uh, nut, and finally the lock nut. What will happen if tappet clearance is less? Suppose the tappet clearance is less, valve will open early and close late. Then the air induced through the inlet valve, it may leak out. So the less air is available for the compressor and combustion part. And if that is the case, then of course, for the same amount of the fuel which is being burned, the power produced will be reduced. Fuel consumption will also increase because you have the power demand, you are supplying the fuel, but the power is not as required developed due to the less air. So engine may become unbalanced also and exhaust temperature will also be very high. In worst condition, valve may remain open and resulting in the loss of compression pressure, burning of the exhaust valve, turbocharger heavy fouling will be there. What will happen if tappet clearance is more? Valve will open late and close early and reduce the maximum lift. It will cause noise and damage eventually because of the tappet clearance more. Less heat energy to turbocharger is being provided and it also causes the reduction in the scavenger and hence the power production is also less. No proper removal of gases. Mixing of the gases will happen and this is not going to give you the resultant power output. Hammering of the valve stem also is possible and this is going to cause the damage to the valve stem. As we have earlier seen, some engines exhaust valve tappet clearance is more than the inlet valve. So the reason you can see that the exhaust valve temperature is always more than the suction valve because the inlet air temperature is quite less as we compare to the exhaust gas temperature, and when it is passing through it the heat transfer will occur and the valve and valve stem is basically going to be more and more hot and this causes the more thermal expansion. So that's why the exhaust valve tappet clearance is required to be more than the suction valve. Okay, and we can see over here it expands more as the inlet valve, so the more clearance is being required. But some of the engines, both inlet and exhaust valves, are having the same clearance also, depend upon the manufacturing guideline. So as we have in a very short and precise manner discussed about the tappet clearance, which is asked in your examinations. So I hope that it is being understood by you guys, and I will be coming with the next video very soon. Thank you all of you.